let's talk about, you've built this amazing agency and it was very stressful because you were doing 8 different business. And I think, but you have to, right? Like, think about it.
Dude, that's actually a theory I have. I call it the hourglass of niching. You can't niche down out the gate. If you do, you're going to pick wrong, guaranteed. There's something called the corridor principle that says that you're never going to identify the real opportunity until you've stepped out on the field of battle. Like Henry Ford figured out the assembly line by working at a sausage factory. Henry Ford didn't make billions of dollars making sausages, but that's where he cut his teeth. And so it's okay to start broad as long as you have the intention of niching down. And then what's really fun, and the more sophisticated agencies do this, is once you've niched down, and this is what I would have done had I not sold, then you branch back out. Because now I'm like, well, I'm the Google Ads agency, but we're really good at traffic, so I'm going to add every traffic channel. And once I add every traffic channel, then I'm going to add CRO. And then once I add CRO, I'm going to add after the click and first-party data. And so start broad, niche down, branch out. It's an hourglass. And it's the perfectly optimized formula as long as you're militant with following that process. The danger is it's real seductive when you're making money. Because when it's time to niche down, it's when you're making money doing a bunch of things. And that's what was happening. I'd hit my goal. That was the weirdest part, dude, is I'd hit this financial goal and I'm like, why am I so unhappy?
What was that goal? What was that goal personally and for the business when you remember this?
Everybody wants to be a 7-figure business. So we were doing $1 million gross revenue and I was making $250,000 a year personally.
Okay.
And so I was like, I'm making $250,000, I'm making $250,000. And at the time I was like, oh, I'll never be able to spend that. That's about what I was hitting when I was being an idiot douchebag, but I had become frugal now, and so me and my wife lived in this little shoebox condo and it's paid off. And I drove a Kia and she drove a Prius. And I'm like, man, if I could just get back to where I was, I'll be set for the rest of my life. And I was miserable because it was 12 to 18 hour days of getting yelled. When you tell everybody, when you're everything to everybody, if anything goes wrong, that's your fault, right? Because I'm everything. So you just wake up one day and Google your name and you don't like the fact that the 4th position is a ripoff report, that's my fault now. And we're making money doing all this stuff, but it just wasn't scalable. And I hate that word, dude. It's such a dirty word. It wasn't sustainable. And I fought niching hard.
And you weren't happy. It sounds like you weren't happy.
Miserable. I hated it.
So did you think about getting a job or closing it up or selling it at that point?
I tried to sell it. So dude, you're the first person to ask me that. I kept trying to get rid of it. So I started making, I had a separate business doing fix and flips with real estate. And we got so good, I started selling the leads instead of actually doing the flips. And so I have this side business where I'm making more money doing the real estate thing than I was doing at the agency at the time. So I kept I tried to hire somebody to run it for me and they would screw it up, run into the ground, piss somebody off. So that wouldn't work. I wanted to be a mogul, right? So I was like, oh, I'll just hire a CEO, and that didn't work. And then I was like, well, I just need a really strong number 2. And when that didn't work, and then I tried to sell it, but it was too fractured of an entity and I was too small.
Like what did people say? Did you ever go through the due diligence or get to a letter of intent?
No, I didn't get anywhere near that far. I would talk to brokers. And I'd say, this is what I've got. This is what it's, what it is. And they'd say, well, this is what I can sell it for. And in my mind, I was like, I'm going to make that. I just wait
that
a
number?
Year. About $500,000.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. $500,000 is, nothing more than 7 figures. It was like 3x my net basically. And that's because first of all, brokers are all full of it, right? Like they're just realtors. They're going to list your business and whatever the cat drags on, they're like, this is the best we could do. So you want somebody who's like you, dude, not to pander, but going to be creative and strategic and talk about this is the right fit. And it's always a strategic buyer that's the best buyer. That's not what I was going for.
I hope you enjoyed this content. If you want more content like this, make sure you click on the link on the screen or check out your most popular podcast platform where the full episode is there. And until next time, have a swank day. What are you doing? Go check it out. Click on the link. I'll see you soon.